Hello students, this is for class 11th, subject informatics practices, topic components of computer. Students, you must have seen the last video. In the last video I had told the different components of computer, that is I had told memory also, computer memory. You must have learned in that video about the computer memory, that is primary memory and secondary memory. There are two types of computer memory, primary memory and secondary memory. Now today in this video you will learn about first the primary memory, and in the other video you will learn about secondary memory. So primary memory or main memory, here you can see parts of main memory. The parts of main memory, here two parts are given, RAM and ROM, random access memory and read only memory. So let us learn what is RAM. RAM stands for random access memory. Let us see. In the random access memory, the memory cells can be accessed for information transfer from any desired random location. It means in the computer memory, the memory cells can be accessed for the transfer of information from any desired place, any random desired place. That's why its name is random access memory. That is, you can see the process of locating a word in memory is the same and requires an equal amount of memory. Thus, the name is given random access. Now, what happens when the memory is accessed? The communication between a memory and its environment is achieved through data input and output lines. Means in the memory there are data input and output lines. You will see in the next figure. And address selection line is there, control line is there, that specify the direction of transfer. A block diagram of RAM unit is shown here. You can see what happens in the figure. First let's see figure. Here is the figure. This is the memory. In memory the end data input is given with the data input line. It comes to the memory and end data output is given with the data output line. There is K address line. There is control lines. Two control lines are there, that is read control line and write control line. Now let us see in the previous. What is given there? The end data input line provide the information to be stored in memory. From here you can see the end data input lines provide the information to be stored in memory. Means the information goes in the memory with end data input line, and the end data output line supply the information coming out of memory. And what is the K address? K address line provide a binary number of K bits that specify the address of, here you can see the K address lines provide a binary number of K bits that specify the address of a particular word chosen among the 2 power K available inside the memory. That means you can say K address line specifies the address for each data item in the form of 2 power K bits. In the form of 2 power K bits. Now what are control lines? Here given that 2 control lines, that is input. The 2 control inputs specify the direction of transfer, that is read and write. Means what kind of information transfer is being done, that is the read permission or the write permission. Now if we talk about the RAM, then there is a drawback of RAM. What is the drawback? That it is a volatile memory. Means it is a temporary memory. It cannot hold data after the computer is switched off or the power is off. Means RAM can work only when your computer is on. There are two types of RAM. that is DRAM and SRAM. DRAM stands for dynamic RAM and SRAM stands for static RAM. Now what is dynamic RAM? Dynamic RAM consists of a transistor and capacitor that is capable of storing an electric charge. Means when it stores electric charge, then it is 1, and when it does not store electric charge, then it is 0. See here it is given depending on the switching action of the transistor. Means when the transistor is on or when the charge is passing, then it stores 1, and when the charge is not passing, then it stores 0. The dynamic RAM provides volatile storage, that is the contents are lost when the computer is off or when the power failure comes. There is given MAT, that is memory access time. What is memory access time? The amount of time taken to produce data required from memory from the starting of access to the availability of data is called memory access time. Listen once again. The amount of time taken to represent the data, to produce the data required from memory from the starting time of access to the availability of data is called memory access time. And most important thing, that the DRAM has the memory access time ranging from below 20 to 70 nanoseconds. Here is given DRAM density, storage density, and DRAM refreshing. DRAM refreshing is the drawback of DRAM. Let us see what is density. Since a DRAM cell consists of only one transistor and capacitor per bit, it allows a DRAM chip to pack a large number of cells within the chip compared to SRAM. Means in SRAM, the flip-flops are there, so they cannot store large number of cells. But DRAM can store large number of cells. Let us see what is DRAM refreshing. The problem of capacitor is that it starts losing the charge over a period of time and can retain data for barely a thousandth of a second. That means in this the charge is always lost. So for this the refreshing is required. That consumes the CPU processing time. Next, static RAM. Static RAM is also volatile like DRAM, but as long as they are supplied with power, they need no special refreshing. That means in DRAM refreshing is required, but here refreshing is not required. As given, static RAM is also volatile, but as long as they are supplied with power, they need no special regenerator circuits to retain the stored data. That means no refreshing is required. The static RAM consists eventually of internal flip-flops. Flip-flop is the binary cell in which data is stored. So it eventually consists of flip-flop that store the binary information. The stored information remains valid as long as the power is applied to the unit. Means in this the data is not lost and refreshing is not required. Static RAM take up more space for a given storage capacity than do dynamic RAM, but have faster access time than DRAM. So here I think you have understood about the two types of RAM. Let us proceed further. Read only memory. Now after RAM, ROM. Let us talk about ROM. Read only memory. So ROM is a non-volatile memory. You can see, as the name applies, a read-only memory is a memory unit that performs the read operation only. Read operation only means you can only read the data in this memory, from this memory. You cannot have the permission of writing or copying or deleting. That's why here given that it does not have a write capability. This implies that the binary information stored in a ROM is made permanent during the hardware production of the unit and cannot be altered or changed by different actions or by different words. Hence, it is a non-volatile. Non-volatile means the data is not lost at all. Whereas if you compare RAM, then from the RAM data is always lost. Let us talk about the types of ROM. There are 3 types of ROM: PROM, EPROM and double EPROM. That means PROM stands for Programmable Read-Only Memory. It is a ROM that can be programmed to record information using a facility known as PROM programmer. Once the chip has been programmed, the recorded information cannot be changed. That means PROM is just like ROM only. Here the PROM programmer facility is there to record the information. Let us see the next. EPROM. EPROM, that stands for Erasable Programmable Read-Only Memory. It is another type of ROM that can be erased and the chip can be programmed to record different information using a special PROM program facility. Erasure is achieved by exposing the chip to ultraviolet light. Remember, means in EPROM the data can be erased. In PROM data cannot be erased after once programmed. But in EPROM data can be erased, but how? By exposing the chip to ultraviolet light. When an EPROM is in use, the information can only be read and the information remains on the chip until it is erased. Next, electrically erasable programmable read-only memory. Now what happens in this type of ROM can be programmed and erased by electrical signals. Remember, in EPROM it is erased by ultraviolet lights, and in double EPROM it is erased from electrical signals. Information loaded in this memory can be retained for many years without any power supply. One of its new application is as a backup to RAM memory, because RAM always loses the data. That's why as a backup to RAM memory this type of ROM is used, double EPROM. Nowadays most of the computers come with the double EPROM. Whenever your computer is turned off directly, your data is not lost because there is EPROM. Your data is hold on the EPROM. Whenever you switch on your computer, you can get back your data from the EPROM. Thank you for the first video. Now about the storage unit, that is about secondary memory, we will talk in the next video.